A very good morning and welcome to Newsline. It's coming to you live, of course, from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. It's the start of a new week and Sri Lanka is still reeling from the recent incidents in the country. To discuss more on this, we've got in our studios this morning Shamindra Ferdinando. He is the news editor at The Island. A very good morning, Shamindra, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you.
Shamindra, you being a news reporter, news editor at The Island, you deal a lot with news reports. Sri Lanka is currently facing a crisis besides the terrorist incidents that happened in the country, and that is the spread of fake news reports. Now, this has gone to an extent where the police have been forced to arrest people and to detain them or to even prosecute them in court. How bad is the situation really when it comes to the spread of fake news here in Sri Lanka?
When you say fake news, we must realize that in today's world, you cannot control media. And if the mainstream media, the print and electronic media do not carry or report certain things, the people always depend on the social media, right? So you must examine this situation with the failure of the government to inform the people. You simply cannot control and make restrictions, because people always find a way to inform the others, right? So the spreading, or now you will find people who may unintentionally pass on information, wrong information.
Right.
At the same time, you will find organized group of people who use social media to achieve certain ends.
Right.
So Saharan, this group, the National Tawhid Jamaat, they obviously use social media in a big way. Now, recently I was at a function in Matale where chairman of the Sri Lanka Press Council addressed the media base in Matale, where Mr. Koggala Bandula Vellala, he addressed this issue. He pointed out how these people use social media to propagate violence, So it's a serious issue, but you cannot control the situation by just arresting people.
Right. How do you draw a distinction between people who involuntarily share fake information or unknowingly share fake information and people who share fake information and hate speech in an organized fashion? Is there any line that you can draw a distinction on?
It'd be difficult, but those who receive post various information, they tend to pass on, share that information with
especially with their loved ones, because they simply care for them.
Yes, but you will find very well organized groups who operate as a group to maybe to discredit the government, to discredit the opposition, or to inspire people to take up arms, what had happened in other parts of the world, right? So social media can be used to cause a lot of problems. Here last year at Digana and Ampara, we saw how the social media was used by interested parties to cause chaos in that part of the country, right? And this time too, after ISIS struggle, we saw interested parties, the political parties, the opposition, then the civil society also sometimes use social media. So it's an issue they have to tackle, they have to address. But one thing, I personally like social media, although I am not on FB or I must tell you, because the people are angry. Sometimes they have things to tell others.
To vent out their anger.
Yes, and they also feel the mainstream media do not cater to their needs. So therefore, they sometimes use social media, and if you check Facebook, you will see certain comments on certain politicians, top politicians, officials. They really expose these people, and they tell the truth. Right. I may not agree with all things said by these people, but still I feel that they have naturally they are angry about the situation. You know, the schools are not functioning properly. There's no security. So there's an issue. So the social media, I think social media should remain, whatever the problems.
So do you believe that the steps taken by the government to curb the spread of false information, fake news or hate speech and content that incites violence have been successful?
I don't think so. I can tell you a recent event, a recent incident. You know, I was at an event at the BMICH where the TNA spokesman, Jaffna District MP, Honorable Sumanthiran addressed the gathering, where he justified the Easter Sunday attacks, right? What he said was basically, essentially that when the majority does not or did not address the grievances of the minorities, these things do happen. So that's, I was very surprised that he said he's a lawyer, very senior lawyer. And among the audience, now we had the speaker, Karu Jayasuriya, then chairperson of the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka, Dr. Deepika Udagama. Then we had a number of other people. We had Dr. Jayampati Vikramaratne, then Lal Kant, former MP, then number of people, the civil society. Here, a politician, a a person we accept as a say a reasonable person, justifying killing and about over 250 people killed, about 500 wounded, 3 churches attacked, the hotels attacked, right? He justified. He very openly justified. And I'm telling you, the audience, the people who were present, they clapped, right? They appreciated his statement. I don't know whether, but the electronic media did not report this.
Okay.
The print media also did not report it, except the
were there media personnel present?
There were about more than 20 people from the media. For some reason, they did not report it. So those who talk about action against hate speech, spread of false, fake news, they must also realize that the politicians can do.
The leaders of our country.
Yes, and it's a very serious issue, and the speaker was there, and in fact.
So didn't any of these responsible people, like you mentioned, the speaker, he's a member of the UMP, then Jayampati Vikramaratne, he was instrumental in formulating the constitution. People like this, did they not, stand up and speak out against this, saying no, this is not the case?
No one now. See, people respond to every statement made by some politician or
exactly.
And in fact, I raised this issue with Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, and he condemned the statement. He said wrong interpretation, right?
Right.
So in addition to that, I raised it with Dr. Deepika Udagama, and she responded to the island question in respect of the statement made at the BMICH. But I asked her whether she spoke to Honorable Sumanthiran in this regard.
Okay.
She did not answer that question. So you have to be careful. It's the responsibility of the institutions and the parliament and the government to ensure that all people adhere it. Right?
All people are treated equally before the law.
Yes.
Because you see there are certain young people in this country who are being arrested for maybe putting up a post on Facebook. I'm not justifying what they are doing, but that's the level that the law is operating right now. That's how strict the law is right now. We're under emergency regulations. Freedom of speech is restricted to a certain limit. And when these people are being arrested like this, and people like TNA MP M.A. Sumanthiran, who openly support the government as well, they come out and make these statements justifying acts of terrorism. Why isn't the law being implemented against them?
So, I mean, I do not have anything against Honorable Sumanthiran, but it's an issue. It's an issue because I must tell you, Attorney at Law, Mr. Javed Yusuf, who was there at that event, he addressed the gathering after Honorable Sumanthiran. He contradicted the MP.
Okay.
So he was representing the Muslim community and he very strongly condemned
The
the
statement
attack.
made.
Yes. No, I mean he did not condemn the statement made by Sumandra.
He condemned the attack.
He condemned the attack and he said the Muslim community totally, totally condemned this attack. Right. So there was no justification on the part of the Muslim community. But after the event, now I thought that the entire media, I mean, they were going to take up this issue.
Okay.
But nothing happened.
Right.
Nothing happened. Right. So there's something wrong there. And because the speaker was present, he was just, he said, I mean, he was there, then former President Chandrika Bandara Kumaratunga was there. There were many lawyers. And there was, I think, the chairman of the OMP, the Office of Missing Person.
President's Council.
Yes. So there were a lot of people. There
Right.
were a lot of people. Right now, what would have happened if somebody else
Made that statement.
If somebody else made that statement, there would have been a major thing because UPF MP, Kautru District MP, PL Nishant, he, I think, on Suvarna Vahini, there was a program and he said that, he claimed that this NTJ killed 10 or 11 soldiers in the East. There was a big issue and Mangala Samarveer minister, the finance minister complained to the CID and the CID immediately summoned this MP. They recorded his statement. They saw Dayasri Jayasekara, the SLP General Secretary, at some trouble spot recently.
Yes, in Minuangoda.
Not Minuangoda.
At a police station.
No, he was outside the police station.
Exactly.
Yes.
The tensions that ensued in Minuangoda.
So he was summoned
to this.
He was summoned. They recorded his statement. So then, how about this? This is a far more serious statement where you justified a major terrorist attack a week after the incident. The statement Sumandiran made, I think he made it on 29th afternoon, April. So the incident happened on 21st. So he knew all those officials and the civil society people and the media present at this occasion, they knew that it was a terrorist attack. A group of Muslim youth, I say misguided Muslim youth, carried out that attack. They caused so much destruction. But still, somebody justified it very publicly. Up to now, not your television station or other television stations or the print media did not report this. Now, when I raised this issue with Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit, there were more than 20 journalists from all the organizations. But for some reason, they do not want to report this issue, right? So, maybe we should discuss this, the things that the media do not want to report.
So when it comes to, the government has now and again come out and said, please do not incite hatred, do not spread hate speech, and do not post or share anything that would incite violence in this country. But then the leaders of the government speak on a different note. They're giving us mixed messages.
No, I think the government on its own inspire and, is a push factor. The government. Now see, 9 people arrested in connection with this attack, April 21st attack, they were released.
The employees of the copper factory.
Yes, right. So naturally people are angry. So the Sinhala Buddhists or Sinhala Catholic, those who had been affected by the attack, they are very angry because they see, right, people arrested for various things now, about 10 days or 12 days back, maybe over, I think about 2 weeks back, there was this person who was drunk. He drove his car. The Navy signaled him to stop. He didn't stop.
Shot at him.
He was shot dead. Now here, a group of people taken by the government, right, arrested for their alleged involvement in this attack. They were produced before magistrate and they were given bail because they were not produced in terms of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. So something wrong there. Same time, I must also tell you, there were a lot of destruction in Minuangoda. Now, of the people arrested, 32 persons given bail. Right? So then the Muslim people, the Muslim community wonder why. Why? Right? So you have a different law for people arrested in Kurunegala, right? And others arrested with swords and explosives and various other things. Here, massive destruction in Minwangola, and more than 30 people given bail. So naturally, we must also realize, in addition to these social media and those guys who post various, try to mislead the people, inspire violence and all, the government itself is a major concern.
And all the while, members of parliament are running amok. I was reading the papers this morning and I just saw that UNP MPs are now trying to bring a motion of no confidence against General Secretary of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Dayasiri Jayasekara. It's a barrage of no confidence motion being tossed from opposition to the government to the opposition. Is there any point in reality by even the government in this at this juncture of time has taken steps to appoint a parliamentary select committee, and the select committee, the initial scope of the select committee was broadened to include allegations against ministers and governors, in this case specifically Minister Rishad Badiuddin. What's exactly happening inside Parliament? People honestly have no trust in the supreme body of our country.
I think you are 100% right. People have lost faith in the system. So, no point in moving a no-faith motion against Dayasiri Jayasekara. I think maybe, the people should move
a no-confidence motion against the Parliament.
Against the Parliament. All political parties. I will tell you a very good example how these people, how our political parties behave. And I don't think the media reported, gave adequate coverage to this story from Parliament last Friday. Now, the former president's government, the Rajapaksa administration ended the war in May 2009, and subsequently they did away with emergency.
Yes.
Right. Now, 10 years after,
emergency regulations were done away with in somewhere around 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Subsequently.
The transition, yes.
Right. Okay. So in 2015, after this government, the Yahapana lot came into power, they removed it, right?
Completely gone.
Now, in 2019, after the attack on the churches and the hotels, they reintroduced emergency. They reintroduced emergency on 22nd of April.
Okay.
22nd or 23rd. Anyway, soon after, about 3 days after the incident. Now, the entire Parliament endorsed that decision.
Right.
Right? Within days after the incident. Now, last Friday, the first extension. So, the government proposed to extend the emergency. And out of 225 members of Parliament, only 30 were present. Now this is a record. This is a record. Now, how did they vote?
Right.
How did they vote? There were 30 people because Marve Senadiraja of TNA asked for a division. There was a vote. Right. So, out of 30 honorable members of Parliament present, 22 voted for the emergency and 8 against. Now, see, within a month, the TNA very well, they know that the North is also under threat, tremendous threat, because the NTJ planned to attack a church in Kilnochi also,
right?
St. Teresa's Church, right? Now, in April, the TNA support emergency. In May, TNA
against
call for division. Then out of 16 MPs in Parliament, 8 voted against.
What was their justification? Why did they vote against?
No, it's politics in this country, right? Now, 22 people. Now, the decision of the TNA to vote against the emergency must be examined against the backdrop of Sumandiran's statement, right?
Right.
Justified the attack on the churches and the hotels, right? I leave it there. And then of the 22 people who voted for emergency, 18 belong to the UNP, 4 belong to the UPFA, right? So of the UPFA, I think Alagiyawan from Gampa, Rasanta Alagiyawan, then PSN Gamage.
Dinesh Kunawala?
No, he was not there.
Okay.
So four people I cannot remember, I think very important. PSN Gamage from Gaul, Lasanta Alagiyawan from Gampaha, then Duminda Disanayaka from Anuradhapura, and another MP voted with the UP.
With the UNP.
With the UNP.
Okay.
Now, the joint opposition, we can call them joint opposition, or those who are loyal to the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, or you can also call them SLPP, right? So, I mean, different times they, give different names. Nobody voted for this. Now, can you believe it? Now, the joint opposition is the group that repeatedly blames the UNP for jeopardizing national security. They make allegations against the President, against the Prime Minister, against the State Defence Minister. But on this day, not a single joint opposition member voted for emergency. Now, these people owe an explanation. Why didn't they vote? And I spoke to Ali Sahil Maulana.
Okay.
He is a Muslim MP from the east, from the Badiklo district. He voted for, right? All the Catholic MPs representing the, that Catholic belt, Vattala, Nigammu, Vennappur, Chila, they were missing, right? So the joint opposition must explain to the people, why didn't they vote? The parliament meets 8 days a week. Mr. Karujaya Surya, the speaker, was on chair, right? So I think the parliament must explain. They are demanding explanation from all the people. They say that, they talk about privileges of MPs. And, so what is the point if you do not come to parliament, if you do not attend parliament? When I spoke to Ali Sahid Maulana, he told me, I asked him, you are a Muslim MP, but you voted. He said, it's my duty. He said, it's my duty. He's under threat. He lives in Batiklo.
Right.
Right? So, something wrong with the system. Something terribly wrong. The Muslim community, he represents the Muslim community, Ali Sahid Maulana. He is a member of the Sri Lanka Muslim Congress. So the Muslim Congress has 7 members in parliament. The Muslim Congress did not vote. All MPs did not vote. But still, Ali Sahid Maulana from the Badiklo district, he voted. Now he showed the difference between those who pretend, that they are, patriots. Where were they? Right? Media did not report this. Just check Sinhala, Tamil and English media. Right?
I believe we carried a news story on our channel saying that only 22 MPs voted for it.
No, my friend, there's a need to explain.
Exactly.
People must be told. People must realize what is going on in this parliament. These people, when they come into parliament, at the beginning of their term, they receive a duty-free permit. Right? That's worth, tax exemption up to over 30 million.
That's 300 lakhs.
300 lakhs. They sell it. All these people sell it, most of them, right? I have the names and I have reported it. So at least if these people do not support emergency, they cannot be in parliament. Now they will, this joint opposition MP, they will give all sort of explanation. But they should have been there. And the UMP with more than 100 MPs in parliament, all of them, maybe except the TNA, it's a political decision on the part of the TNA, all the others should have voted for emergency. It's for the continuous deployment of the armed forces.
Armed forces, exactly.
Yeah, right. So
because without emergency regulation, deployment of armed forces is illegal.
Yeah, and the JVP, they have 6 members in parliament. They were missing, right? So I think the media also must take responsibility. The media must also inquire into this. Right, we simply get people to respond to when A makes a statement,
presidential
B
candidate.
I think this political party system, these people have failed. They have failed the country. They have failed Sinhala Buddhists, they have failed Sinhala Catholic, they have failed Tamils, and they have failed Muslims. The politicians, they benefit. right? So it's obviously they are looking at the forthcoming presidential election and, you know, trying to come to some sort of arrangement with various people, so they don't care. And most probably, with all these allegations against Rishad Badruddin, he can be a member of the next cabinet also, because for 3 terms he represented the Rajpaksa.
Exactly. Whichever government comes into power, he seems to be in good books with them.
Yes, certainly. So I think it's up to the media to really examine these issues, right? You know,
when you really take a look at these issues, the current situation in the country is quite conducive for politicians. This creates more room for them to, you know, broaden their voter base and to ensure their seat in parliament or other institutional bodies in the country.
What you said is right, but I like to add something. You know, this is the only country where when the electorates reject people,
you get in through the nationalists.
Nationalists, you know, it's a system, you know, it's for them, you know, it's a system in place to ensure those who are in parliament can continue, right? So,
because I think a majority of these members in parliament, they have been in parliament for the past 30, 40 years.
So, how many duty-free permits? Now, before the 19th amendment, the elections in every 6 years. Now it's 5 years. So they're lucky. So the guys are lucky. I mean, they can have their permits
every 5 years.
Every 5 years, you know. It's a system. I think I blame the media also. Right? I blame the media also because the media do not really examine issues. We simply report. And these guys, you know, these people just get away with it.
However, here at Newsfirst, we've been closely following some massive corruption deals, but then again, there is only so much that the media can do when we make revelations, and there is only so much airtime to go around with, given the rate at which corruption is spreading in this country. Speaking about all of these issues, people have seemed to have forgotten that the largest scam in the country, the central bank bond scam, took place under this government. Nobody is even speaking about that now because people simply do not have the time for that, because there are so many other allegations going around.
When you talk about the central bank bond scam, please always mention they robbed the bank in 2015 February, and they did it again in March 2016. See, two illegal transactions, not one. When you say, you know, the people think it's only happened in 2000, once. No, it's twice, and it will happen again, most likely, because
and now with talks, I believe the EPF has already been invested in the Colombo Stock Exchange.
God bless
the EPF again.
Yes.
And this has been done in a backdrop where the EPF has suffered continuous losses whenever it has been invested in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Billions and billions of rupees in losses.
You know, the parliament will protect them, I tell you. You know, the Presidential Commission report on the bond scam, this parliament did not debate it. Release. For more than 2 years, I think.
For the lack of a translation, there were so many issues that
they have reasons. When it comes to their perks and privileges, they'll get them like this.
And you can be rest assured that when the no confidence motion against Rishad Badruddin has been taken up, you will have a full house.
It all depends. I mean,
you definitely have more than 30 MPs present in Parliament on that date, for sure.
Yes, but still, you know, this system is so corrupt. You know, they will always find a way. I mean, we don't know what can happen, what will happen, because the last time, remember, when Mr. Gunasekara was about to hand over the report, his report on the first bond scam,
Parliament was dissolved.
The Parliament dissolved.
Shamindra, we've come to the end of the show. We've got less than a minute. Any advice you'd like to give our general public, given that this is an election year? How can we really get out of this mess? Can we get out of this mess?
I don't think so. I don't think.
Not anytime soon?
Not soon. Not soon.
But it's important that people continue to express their anger, their frustration in this government. We saw that in the form of honking their horns very recently, and people shouldn't really stop there. They should go out, they should hold their politicians, their representatives, because these are people who are being sent to Parliament not to ensure their well-being and the betterment of the future of their children and their families and so on, but the betterment of this country as a whole. and the people have been sleeping long enough?
I think they are not, we should not call them people's representatives. I think that's a mistake. Right?
That's the biggest mistake.
They do not represent the interests of the ordinary people of this country. That's why this country is in ruins. And that's the truth. So
the only way out of this is to really elect people who will represent our interests.
Very few.
Thank you very much, Shamindra Ferdinando, for joining us this morning. And that's how it was on Newsline on a Monday morning. Have a great week ahead. Take care and God bless. Until next time.